This is one of these projects where I am 95% sure this is not going to work. We had this idea that essentially the boat was too white, so to try and break it up, I bought some stick-on wood. I'm going to start down there where it's inconspicuous, but I've got 6.
Oh, that's going to be difficult. Well, good luck.
So it's a pretty cloudy day, and I'm interested to know what the solar's doing.
So we have, 22 amps going to the battery. The aft solar panels are putting in 21 amps, and the Ford, the Ford solar panels are putting in 15 amps. Why they've divided them Ford and aft, I couldn't tell you. And our batteries are 61% charged. I'm just going to center the Traveller a bit because I just noticed that it's not totally center and there is a little bit of shadow from the boom. It's midday, so we should be able to not have any shadow. So let's give it a go.
Better. Let's see if that's made any difference at all.
So now we're putting in 21 amps from the Ford solars and 27 from the aft.
You want to leave this place where we grew up. This so time to put it all behind. Remember you and I.
Alright, I'm gonna go ashore. Nick's gonna ferry me ashore like a little taxi service. And I'm gonna go and get a lovely foot massage. We've been working really hard. We've just been essentially sat here trying to set the boat up. And I've been editing non-stop trying to get some content out to you guys. So yeah, I could do with a little bit of TLC, just R&R, just a little treat.
I'll be here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by, leave a mark.
I mean, that dinghy is so obnoxious. One thing that Nick and I have learned from many years living on a boat together is that personal space is really, really important. You will go crazy if you are stuck on your boat with your significant other, your family, for any length of time without having alone time. You need to have your own hobbies, your own time, you need to have your own space, and you need to try and retain a little bit of independence. And that could mean, I don't know, like one of you has a hobby, you take up photography, or you start a blog. That's what I did all those years ago. Or you just get into reading, or you get into painting or drawing or something that is just yours. You do yoga, anything like that. But obviously Nick and I have a lot of crossover in our lives. We work together, we live together, we are together, and we sail together and we live on a boat together. So sometimes it's hard to get that separation. So having kind of moments like this where we, for example, go ashore and just do something for ourselves and just have some alone time, I think it's really, really important. It's important to me, and this is a lesson that we've learned the hard way.
I'm Terysa, this is Nick, and this is Ruby Rose 2, our floating home. Join us as we settle into life on board our brand new catamaran, documenting our adventures and never shying away from the reality of boat life. Subscribe to our channel and leave a comment because we love to hear from you, and a big thanks to our community of patrons.
That was so lovely. That was very rejuvenating. I'm not very good at kind of just taking time off to relax. Usually I'm too stressed about just the pile of work that seems to just grow and grow and grow and never seems to shrink no matter how much time I spend on it. But yeah, taking a few hours just to go ashore, that foot massage was just heavenly. And I had some lunch and I had a little watermelon tea thing. And then Nick came to pick me up and we did a little swapsy. So he is now ashore and he's doing his jobs. I'm not quite sure what he needs to do. And I brought the dinghy back. And then later when he's ready, I will go and pick him up again. And what I'm interested in is how much power we're actually getting from our solar at the moment, how much energy we're putting in. So let's go and have a look. It's quite a cloudy day today. So we have 68% battery. When I left, I think it was about 52%. So that was about 3 hours ago. So we're putting in a total of 19 amps. That's our net total that we're putting in.
And our forward solar panels are putting in 12 amps and our aft solar panels are putting in about 18, 19. So is the fridge and the freezer, they're using about almost 2 amps each. And what else is using power? Yeah, the ice machine. So the ice machine is drawing 5 amps.
Back into sailing life. I've got a sarong, a dirty t-shirt, a epic haircut.
I was literally just saying that it felt really muggy and really close and like it needs to rain. The water suddenly, after 5 days of being here where we've had a constant, quite strong breeze, the water suddenly went glassy and calm, and I went to pick Nick up and I was like, oh, this is lovely.
By the power of grace. Is that all you got? Is that all you got with me and my elephant sarong?
So I'm quite excited. We can test out our rain catchment system.
If it rains, we can indeed test out the rain catchment system.
All right, so we're gonna have to like, project our voices because I'll probably have to crop in quite a bit.
All right.
And we're quite far from the microphone.
All right.
Hopefully it's okay. All right, so we thought we'd have a little chit chat with y'all
I'm going to tuck this sarong in so that you don't get distracted.
so that no one is distracted. Did I just see some lightning?
Yes.
Wow, okay. All right, guys, you get a bit of a show behind us. Anyway, so we've had some questions from our patrons and lots of other people asking how we are settling into life on board Ruby Rose 2. This has been quite the learning curve for me.
Baptism of fire.
It has actually been the baptism of fire.
I'll write that on a big set of flashcards for you later, and you can say it in 3 different ways. So, me guts.
What have you found to be more challenging than you were expecting?
Tweaking this boat.
Yeah.
Tweaking it to be visually, aesthetically, practically what we need from a boat. There was things that were set up from the factory that just weren't working for us. There were issues that we had never encountered before, and this is the whole point. When we had Ruby Rose, we had 9 years we had that boat.
Yeah.
So by the time we got to year 5, we just encountered just about every problem we'd had. So we knew we had a repository of everything, we know how to fix this. With this, we had a problem with the water maker and literally had to go, and Seaman was super good about it all, like literally phoning James, phoning Mike, like, what do I do here? What's wrong with this? How do I do this? And so that in itself took like a half day to fix. We'd never had a water maker with this level of complexity before. Davit, single line Davit system that we've got here, it's better than it was, but it doesn't quite work the way I want it to work. But what we've done is we found workarounds for everything, right? So, example, we have 4 iPad pad eyes that then go to the davits, and they've got spectral lines on. Those lines were just set up really badly. They were set up with the attachment point not being at the right point because it's heavier on the port side because of the battery than the starboard side. It doesn't seem to weigh out properly. So lifting the dinghy was just traumatic.
Yeah,
like you would just try and invert. It would get to a point where it would tip, and if there's any water in it, that would all then sluice to one side, and we're just like. So it got.
I had a bit of a breakdown about it.
I didn't have a breakdown.
I cried.
Did you cry? Dinghy?
Yeah, I cried.
That should have been tested beforehand. It wasn't. Okay, it's done. We fixed that.
Yeah.
The other problem, which is still causing us problems, and this is to be absolutely frank here, this is the first C11370 that's being tested properly. So this is the first time that the Davit system has been tested. And the problem is, and it's a very basic problem, which is very, very, very simple to fix. The 8mm line needs to be a 10mm line.
Yeah.
And that needs to be all fixed out, but the problem is that it's not simply a question of taking the 8mm. We need a rigger to come in. There's a little bullseye that goes to the deck here. That is only specified for an 8mm line, so it's got to be a 10mm line. You've got to get a 10mm one. That hole needs to be drilled wider. So these are just teething problems. It's all it is, just tiny little things. The other thing that we did, the saloon is too white, blah, 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 first world problems. Went to a hardware store on Koh Samui and found vinyl wrap. And I spent a good hour and a half swearing moderately, but not excessively, at the vinyl wrap yesterday while I wrapped the area underneath the sofas, and it looks to me like it looks a shit ton better.
Yeah, it
breaks everything up. We put some little home touches in that,
and it matches the oak fairly well. Like, it's not an exact match, obviously, but it's
a light wood.
Yeah,
it's a light wood. It's not the mahogany. And the whole point about it is, it's literally, I have not touched the boat at all. I can just peel that off if I don't like it, or if it doesn't work out, or it starts to lift.
Shall I mention my little things that I found hard to adjust to?
Yes. Yes. Tell me what you found it hard to adjust to.
I found the sailing hard to adjust to. So I found the sailing hard. I found it really counterintuitive to sail this boat, because...
Hang on, is that because you haven't sailed for a few years?
That is, I'm sure, a contributing factor. But also, you can't see the sails from in here unless you are in one position at the helm station and you're looking up. But even then, you have a huge blind spot when it comes to the foresail, and that's what happened with the Screecher. I couldn't see what was happening. Nick and I were in the cockpit together. We were furling the Screecher, and you were the only one who had eyes on it. We didn't have eyes on it.
Well, I had eyes on the port side, and we're trying to furl it on port, but the lazy sheet was, no one could see the lazy sheet, and no one was expecting the lazy sheet to get wrapped around the bloody boat.
That's right. So it was just like this little thing where if it had been on Ruby Rose or at Monohull or a boat that you have like full visibility of the sails, that's something that you would have seen happening straight away. Anyway, so that was frustrating to me. And the other thing I was really surprised about, like, for example, and I know that in theory that this is the case, but when, for example, that squall hit, and even before then, when we had the sails still up, we had like, I think 26 knots with the sails up with 2 reefs in the main, I think. I did not feel that at all.
But you won.
Exactly, and that's something that I have to really adjust to, because I wasn't even really, I knew it was windy, but I wasn't really even paying attention to the wind speed. And then I looked down, I think you were actually on watch, so it wasn't actually, thankfully, my responsibility, but I looked down and I was like, oh my God, on Ruby Rose 2, you don't have to look at the instruments, you can feel how the boat is.
You have to sail by numbers.
Yeah.
You do, and that's the whole thing.
And that's something I really am going to have to adjust to.
Well, and as I've said, I don't understand the sounds of this boat. I sail a boat by listening to it.
So a couple of things that you have been pleasantly surprised at with this boat.
I'm pleasantly surprised that we're still filming this video when I'm going to be shutting the windows and emergency check. The weather change, we're going to get absolutely hammered in a minute.
It's your fault for talking about the dinghy for so long. That was like a solid 5 minutes. Okay. A couple of things that you're pleasantly surprised at with this boat.
At anchor, she's even when it's been choppy in here, it's a very, very, very stable platform.
Yes.
It is a beautiful, stable platform. It is, it's a really nice house.
Yeah.
It is. And the level of luxury we have on this is in keeping with what we would have at home.
Yeah.
You know, we have a really nice TV, we've got like pretty good internet here, we have an ice machine, we've got a washing machine,
a lovely like microwave oven.
Yeah, we haven't even used the bloody barbecue yet. So
no, I know.
We've got a really nice barbecue. You know, and this indoor outdoor area, you know, we literally get up in the morning, we've got these, you know, the four deck sofa, the sofa there, the sofa here, the sofa there. You know. it is.
And everything like feels really nice and cool because you've got these huge opening hatches, and that was very, as you recall, very important to, well, me in particular.
I just want you to look at that score about coming down.
Okay. I just need to hang on. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah. Ooh. Oh, we are going to get rained on. Okay, we got to go. Thanks very much for watching.
Give us a like, give us a thumbs up. Epic haircut. Time to get the windows closed. We're going to get wet and hopefully not hit by lightning.
Yeah. Oh,
right.
God, I didn't even think of that. Why did you have to say that?
Well, don't touch anything metal.
Okay.
Goodbye.
I'm assuming if you're watching this episode, everything's fine. Bye. See you next week.
Here comes the rain.